It's beginning to look a lot like butthole.
All right, okay, fair enough. Yeah. That's December for you, butthole. And I think that's what the ancient Greeks used to call it, isn't it? It was like October, November, butthole, January, February. Of course, did no July.
Wait, how many months did the Greeks have, actually? Because
the Romans had 10,
where
and then they added...
calendar?
Well, Julius added July, and then, because they're out of order when you think of like...
Augustus was August.
Yeah.
That made it 12, yeah.
Yeah, because like September really should be the 7th month, you know? October should be the 8th, November should be the 9th. So they added those 2 months in the middle, the Romans, those pesky Romans, for their maniacal ideas. But yeah, I don't know about the ancient Greeks. Sure, they didn't even know what blue was. What would they know about anything?
Yeah, they didn't have the colour blue. Isn't that crazy? You read, and then you're like, that's bullshit. And then like you download like Odyssey or whatever, and you look for things the way they describe the sea, and it's never blue.
No,
never. But isn't it?
It's the same thing as orange wasn't considered a colour for a long while. It was just considered a particular shade of red.
Yeah. Orange didn't become a colour until they found the fruit.
Which came first, the fruit or the colour?
Mad. Well, actually, the fruit in this case.
Yeah, in this case, right? Okay.
My something weird's happening.
Okay. Really? Something weird's happening to the TaSTA
something
boys.
weird's happening.
We're like the Hardy Boys. Only don't get the Scooby-Doo ending.
No, there's nothing mystical or anything here. It's just I've had these things on Etsy for ages.
Right.
I've never done anything with them. Never nothing. No. And one sold today, the Celtic Cross one. So that's great.
Nice.
And you know the problems I've been having with this son of a bitch. This recorder.
Yes.
But so the last time we were recording, it was a big mess up. You don't have to go into it because it's listeners. It's boring.
No one cares. No one cares. If we talked about every audio hitch we had, that would be what the podcast.
Basically, there was a problem, and it took a while to fix, and it was all on my end, and it's anyway. Today I went to pick up the recorder, and I opened the button, and the SD card popped out, and the SD card's been basically stuck in it for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And
wow.
What's going on there, like?
I don't know. It's obviously Mars has left Jupiter, and now it's a reconjunction with Venus or something. That the stars are realigning. You were actually under a bad horoscope for a long while now. Is that how you would describe it? A bad horoscope?
Maybe it was not a medical doctor, Stephen Skinner, putting me under that hex.
Yeah, previous to us talking about him for the past 6 months, hexing you.
That's how magic he is, man. That's how magic he is. Yeah. He knows all. He is all. Yeah. He's one with all.
He's Damon
He is
Brandt.
all.
Yeah, true story. Look it up, anyone at home. Damon Brand is Dr. Stephen Skinner. He admitted it on Facebook. It's a true story. Don't look too much into it, and don't try to verify it, but it's true. Just believe us. Yeah.
I must open up my old the book of faces, because I had saved. Where's the saved posts? Oh no, you're just gonna have to talk among yourselves now until I figure this out.
Well, I used to use Etsy too. Talking about you were about Etsy, but Etsy's a bit crap in Ireland because they're based in Ireland. You have to pay extra tax because they're considered an Irish.
Is that
company.
right?
If you're Irish, not if you're anyone else. So it was like, the way you have to pay the fees whether you sell anything, and then there's listing fees and all that. But it turned out it was like, I don't know, it was about 40% or something, or 45% in fees I had to pay on Etsy, and I just went, whether it's sold or not, kind of thing. I was going like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So that's why I ended up just putting them all on my own website. Not that I sold a bit on Etsy, but like, it didn't really. You really need to have to decide that's your business, I think, for Etsy to work.
Yeah, I think so too. You gotta go all. What's the word? All in on it.
Balls deep.
But that's not right. Not go balls deep. You gotta go all in on it. No, you do. Aggie sells poster versions of some of her images on it. So I just thought I'd put up some of my things. That's all.
Her main thing, Shutterstock, though, I assume, is that, or something similar.
Yeah, Shutterstock, Pond 5, all those Getty, blah blah blah. Adobe have one now as well. I don't know. I think there's 10 or 15 she's on, or 12 or something. Right. I should know, but I'm a terrible husband, as all you listeners know. So,
is there an exclusivity with any of them? Like, can you put them on Shutterstock and Adobe, or you own them, so you can do what you want, kind of thing?
If you choose to, you can say this is only available on Getty. If you want.
Because I know having the book on Amazon gets you benefits if you don't have it on as an ebook anywhere else. They give you something, a better deal or something.
Was that right?
Well, they did at one point when I was setting up the book, but I was looking at recently.
Right.
Some things seem to have changed. But it was like if you only have it as part of their library or whatever, you get an extra cent a book or something. I don't know, or something. I don't know what it is, but there was definitely an advantage to it.
Okay. Yeah. How's your book? The Grimoire must be ready soon, is it?
Well,
no, I know you spoke about it in the video the other day, but
yeah, the proof. I actually got all the editorial proofreading stuff back yesterday. So from both sources, well, one was at the weekend, one was yesterday. So there's a good bit to do, but yeah, it'll be done. But it's not going to be out before Christmas. I'm not putting myself in that pressure. Nor is it a good idea. So what I might do, just this seems as I've never done before, is once it's done, I can put it up as like a pre-order type thing that people do. Professionals, and that'll give me a bit of a time to, because there's a bit of behind the scenes stuff you have to do to transfer first editions to second editions and things like that. So it gives that kind of leeway and stuff to do. But we'll see. Yeah, it's mostly there. And
was there any to get excited about the new one? Like what's?
Well, there's a couple of new there's a couple of new introductions written by people. One of them being you.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, but the Four Devils stuff is in it. That wasn't in it before as an appendix. There's a couple of different bits and pieces that I've added to it, different kind of ritual stuff and ideas. But it's a general. It's without trying to change the entire nature of what the Four said. We're trying to explain it better. The same thing, in that so it's clearer for people. Things like the introduction ritual.
Does page 1 say like don't burn the fucking box?
Well, there's a mention of that in it actually. Yeah. Well, like just to reiterate things like the initiation ritual is totally, it's optional. You don't have to do it, and just talk a bit about the fixer again, and just things like that. But there was a lot of. Even though there was I think 6 or 7 people had a look at that originally, there's still a ton of typos in it. It's just hard to get them all. It's a bit like Pokemon; you have to catch them all. So even when I went through the whole thing with the word spell check and Grammarly and all that, there's still a ton of them. The problem with spell checks and all that is that if you spell a word, it gets through. You know what I mean? It might not be the right word. You might be trying to say definitely and you've put in defiantly, and the spell check is fine with that. So there's things like that, and then just some format and stuff. But it looks a lot. But the new cover, new colours, yeah, it'll be cool. And hopefully a hardback version, because that's available as a ticky box on Amazon these days. So.
Oh, nice.
It all comes down to price. I'm trying to get it so that it's not. I don't know, standard occult hardbacks are like €9 million or whatever, but it's better.
Yeah, but if people are forking over money for the cards as well, you want.
Well, that's it.
I understand you. I understand you.
Yeah, but there is also the the cheap version of the Grimoire, which that'll be updated too at some point. Which is just all of the information without any of the color pictures, and it's like a tenner. So I mean, it's just as cheap as you can, but it doesn't have the fancy stuff in it. Just for the people who do want to spend 40 quid on a book, which, there's plenty of people like that. I don't mind doing that, but it's my addiction. I need to feed it. But more than other people don't need to do that.
I haven't bought a book in ages. I don't know what's wrong with me. Well, I have enough to keep me going, but I finally picked up Carl Jung's Aion. I was putting that off for ages.
Right.
But I just knew. Yeah, I'm not ready to read that, and I'd read something else. No,
but you read
a
number of, or watched a number of lectures and stuff on it, though, and your man's read through
yeah. Especially that, oh Jesus, what's his name? The YouTuber who has a series on it. He framed his around Jordan Peterson and Carl Jung.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. It's really, really good. But there's quite a lot in the book that he doesn't talk about. There's a lot of the divine feminine stuff. I don't remember him saying in the videos.
I think the two boys, when they were friends, Boyo and the other guy, they covered an awful lot of that kind of stuff, because they did like a 20-part thing on Aion as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Before that band broke up, whatever the reason was.
I think he went a bit.
He did seem to go a bit strange, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
The other one, not the Irish one, the other chap. Not Boyo.
Hanging out with a psychologist and kind of some of those videos are very cringe.
He went very no fappy. No fappy. No fappers. They're fucking weird, they are. Yeah. Why would you deny that to yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's
the
not calling
one
you.
pleasure you're guaranteed.
Yeah, it's your only thing in life that you have. Why would you stop it?
Wait, no, isn't this no fap? No, sure, Jesus, it's December now. That's why I'm wearing the Christmas thing. Huh?
No, it's
really all Christmassy.
Destroy Dick December. Not November. Yeah. Destroy. Just go on it. Just have at it.
Just do it. Regret everything later. Live in the moment.
Yeah.
You keep this. So I don't even know if we're taking part of it. I did a couple of days of it already, but I haven't been posting about it. I don't know if you're doing it, but on the 40 Servants Discord, people have started a 40-day challenge, a prosperity wealth kind of challenge, prosperity challenge. Yeah.
You've been doing it. I haven't. I just don't have time to do it at the minute. But and I'm also doing.
Do you know what I do? I put it in at the start of my meditation. That's all.
Right.
I'm just kind of saying, if everyone else is doing it.
And then your SD card started working, and you started sales, and that's funny, isn't it?
Mad? I didn't fall off the horse today, and by God, the horse wanted me to fucking fall off, so he did. He's a fucker, so he is. He has this weird thing of that, like, the start of the lesson, he's more than happy to do the trotting and all that kind of stuff. But then it gets to half an hour, and he's like, I'm sick of this fat Irish fucker on top of me. You know, I went up with this. And I do exactly the same thing, same position. You squeeze in your legs, and then if there's no response, you kick a little, and then if there's no response, you just tap him lightly with the whip. You don't beat him. That's not nice. And nothing. And he's just like, and he kicks off and everything. Tries to do rodeo, and then he'll go, okay, we'll do the trot. It's this weird dance we have to do together. You know. But it's got to the stage now where I'm not even. I don't get scared or not. I just laugh because he's just like trying to kick me off.
And what does the trainer say? Or what's the
nothing? Nothing. They don't react at all. They're just like it's normal. It's just a lazy horse. He's not a lazy horse, but actually, I know this is boring as well. I spent some time looking up like how to get lazy horses to go, and I was doing stuff with that today. Horses are mad. They can be trained many ways by many different people who ride them. I didn't know that.
Right.
I thought it was like, right, this is our stable, this is what we do. But not at all. Like you can take a horse and within 10 minutes you can have taught something new. That's mind blowing, I think.
So you can teach an old horse new tricks then? Is that
definitely can.
Right, that's good to know.
Mad. It's absolutely mad. Like
that'll come in handy for me in the village here with no horses. If only there was a horse here. If only there was a horse, I could teach him how to break down the stove.
Post-apocalyptic Ireland is coming, man. You know, all the preppers are talking about it. Buy a horse. You're going to need a horse to get around, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, fact. I can imagine. I can imagine all the locals trying to get up on horses. That would be a great day.
Come here, to go back to the fortune thing though. There's one change which I thought was interesting. So the normal prayer, is that what you call it? You would call it a prayer for the fortunate is not on your website, Tommy. Where the fuck is it?
It's in the Grimoire of the 40 Servants exclusively. It's on the Discord though. It's on the Discord.
I have a screenshot of it here. That's what I was using it. So my video might get weird here.
It just switches off.
No, not that one.
That's what happens.
Oh, it just switches off. Oh, that's okay.
Hi everyone, it's me.
So the fortunate prayer. Oh, great servant, the fortunate, who showers the blessed with riches and happiness, send me some good luck and good fortune, so that I can delight in the good times. May I live in abundance. So that's the one from the Grimoire. So
no, that's not. That's not that one. That's not my one. Definitely not. Let me see. What? I'll open my one. Exit full screen. We'll see. I'll read it out. It is.
Do you want me to give you the new one then? So who can I Rumpelstiltskin the person?
Well, it's a juggler of worlds, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but I have their real name on 40 Servants on the thing. So.
No, just use screen names. That's if people.
What's their Discord name?
Juggler of Worlds.
Juggler of Worlds. So they have suggested a great servant, the fortunate, who showers the blessed with riches and happiness. Send myself and our group some good luck and good fortune, so that we can delight in good times, may we live in abundance. So it's fairly similar.
Well, it is. Yeah, I've just looked it up there. Yeah, it is the one. There was another fortune prayer. That's what I'm thinking of at the minute. But that is the one from the Grimoire. So, so what did they change? So read the second one again.
O great servant, the fortunate, who showers the blessed with riches and happiness, send myself and our group some good luck and good fortune, so that we can delight in good times, may we live in abundance.
Yeah, that's very nice, actually, to be fair. And I like
nice,
the change into the group work thing. Yeah, I don't really I've used the prayers so much, because the way I kind of use the four services is I just talk to them. You know, I don't, as if I was talking to you or whatever. But I know people like the kind of standard stuff, so that's why I included them. There's mantras as well and stuff like that in the Grimoire. If you're into
sometimes with these things, I find it's good to put a division. Okay, non-duality, yeah. I think sometimes it is good to say, no, actually, yeah, there is a bit of difference here, and you're good at this thing, so yeah, give us a hand.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, exactly that. Yeah, like, I mean, but even in like, say, from the tantric point of view of non-duality, there's still degrees, you know, and it's still, you know, whatever it is, 36 different forms that it takes. So, and
there's
clearly,
a lot of people doing this as well, isn't there?
There seems to be going well.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, but
running from, I think it's running until the start of January, so it's 40 days. Started on the 5th or on the 3rd, I don't remember. I missed the start of it, but I don't think it's. I don't know. I'm not running it, but like, I don't think it's strictly that you have to do 40 days of it. You know.
Well, I can't imagine it. I mean, it's the same with any of them. Like you know. It's only a suggestion. Like, no one's going to come and beat you up if you don't do them. Particularly if it's if you're looking for good fortune, it'd be a bit crap if there was a police squad come around and goes, "You only did 36 days. Give me those Etsy sales back," and smashes your SD card. Yeah.
I wonder. I'm looking forward to hearing the results, kind of as it goes along, and at the end to see, like, you know, like, well, I think that given these things more kind of group power, group focus or whatever, I think it does help.
Yeah, I think it does too, yeah.
It's a bit like, I mean, Jesus, like when you're watching a football match and it's like it's 1-1 and it's 88 minutes, but the home crowd is just going nuts, and next thing there's a goal. Like, it happens too often in football for it not to mean something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it used to be Manchester United had their entire career was scoring in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's mad the way that kind of thing works. So I'm interested to see.
But also the group has the momentum to it. Like, you know, if you were just doing it on your own and you go, "Oh, I have to do that today," and you're just writing in your own diary, you go, "Oh, I won't bother. No one will know." But when there's like, you know, 20 people putting it up every day, checking in or whatever, it gives you that bit more of a reason to do it. That's true. Kind of a want. So even in that kind of very kind of basic level, the group work stuff is good. But Duncan Barford's always going on about how not always, he's mentioned it once or twice, he's always going on about it. He just won't shut up about it.
Yeah, he won't shut up about it.
God, I'm so sick of Duncan talking about how people don't do group work anymore. It's every podcast. No, but he's saying that when he was doing back in the day, there was an awful lot of group work doing. People were doing an awful lot of group work, and people joining like organisations like the OTO or the IoT or all of these things, and their own kind of personal, for want of a better word, coven or whatever, you know, some sort of magical group, and they would do stuff together, and there was great power in it. And you know that he kind of sees now that no one does that really anymore, because there's kind of a suspicion of groups, or you know, it's more of a sole practitioner. You know, you don't want to get involved with other people as much. But I mean, that's because I suppose an awful lot of us now are virtual with each other more than physical. You know, it's hard to be in a physical group over Zoom, which, well, technically I suppose you could do it, but so it is an interesting one that it is something that we don't do quite as much, or don't have the same sort of gravitation towards wanting to do group work when it was so kind of prevalent, particularly in the early days of Chaos Magic, I suppose, and then even for Duncan in the was it the noughties? Is that what it's you say? Is it? I don't like that. In the 2000s. Yeah,
it's better.
Yeah. Like what you say,
here,
the 1900s. That first decade of the
1900s. Yeah. The 2000s.
The 20.
That
doesn't work.
Yeah, none of it's right. The 20s. You can't say the 20s because that's when Nookie Thompson was going around doing stuff on HBO.
Yeah. And how the world was on the brink of war and starvation and pandemics, and it's so different, isn't it? It's like
Hey, we're near coming to the end. Have you seen this? That I read someone, conspiratorial person, put something up the other day that the WHO had predicted it'd be around for 3 years. So like we're nearly there, like. Two-thirds of the way through.
2/3 of the way through, yeah. How I know when the pandemic is over will be that when the new Top Gun movie comes out. That's how you'll know when the pandemic's over, because it was advertised to come out before the pandemic, and every time we went to the cinema they'd show the trailer, and it was coming in 2020, and then they pulled it. And then when it kind of looked like we were opening up again, they said, "Oh, if we're gonna release it," and then the lockdown happened, pulled it. So no, it's next June. It's coming out. So
Really?
That's how you know. That's how you know when it's over. Next June.
What the fuck is in the Top Gun movie? They keep having to take it back and do re-edits because it's too close to the bone or something.
No. It's because they won't make the money they need to. If there's only 50% capacity in the cinema, you're not going to make 50, 100 billion, whatever Top Gun needs to make, whatever. So they pulled it. A load of the Ghostbusters one as well was pulled for a year. James Bond for a year. All of that.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
That's what about I thought there was artistic integrity in every single one of these Hollywood films.
Well, it is in the thing of like, why make a movie that no one's going to see? That sort of thing. But it's like, why make a movie
ask Bill Drummond. Ask Bill Drummond. Why would you write a song no one's going to hear?
Yeah. But it's like all that. Like you can see all that. It's money. It's just money. It's absolutely just money. That there's no point in releasing a film that's going to flop when you can release it next year, and it won't. Just because of timing. I'm
just looking quickly through what people are doing here. Offering prayers, candles, incense, stuff like that. What's your take on offerings for woo? Entities, spirits, gods, whatever.
Yeah, there's a number of kind of takes on it. There's the there seems to be something about in the history of spirits and kind of interactions that they enjoy you doing something for them, in that like the building of the temple or the some sort of sacrifice or something. It's kind of seen, I suppose, classically as because they can't do that, and so that it's a way of them becoming part of this world or something like that. Uh-huh. But the sacrifice is definitely a big thing. But a lot of that came from too, that the blood itself was, had magical power in a sense. So that was a way of feeding them or something like that. But there's the thing around sacrifice as well, that it's the first thing that humans were able to do, where they were able to do something or think, rather than the animalistic thing of doing something bad short term that would lead to something good long term. This kind of idea of, delaying the gratification or any of that kind of stuff. That seems to be a very human thing to do. Although, my rebuttal to that is, don't squirrels put, nuts away for the winter? I mean, that seems to be, it depends on what way you want to look at it. But yeah, the bargaining thing and kind of making the deal with the devil and stuff, that's kind of coming out of sacrificing our offerings and stuff as well. In that, when you get what you want, you have to give something back. But there's like the kind of thing that if you don't get the thing, you don't have to give the offering, which is why you should possibly not give the offering until after you actually get your thing, rather than at the beginning. I if I'm working with the forest servants, I light the candle and light the incense as I'm saying, hey, let's work on this, and again when it's finished. But I do a kind of constant kind of candle, incense, kind of daily thing so it's, it's all kind of mixed up and all of that. It becomes part of that, just that daily routine. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I've started, for a long time, stuff like that, I would have resisted it, because it'd be like, why the fuck would a Roman goddess give two fucks about some incense? Not that she's a Roman goddess. I'm just giving an example. Or if you want to work with Hecate, Hecate, I know Hecate likes cinnamon incense. Hecate doesn't give a fuck. Oh, well, maybe she does. I don't know, but I would have thought. Nah, I don't give a shit about all this. I mean, but it's obviously a projection because I don't particularly care about incense. Then I'm like, no, why would you like it? Kind of stuff, which is obviously a wrong way to look at it. Obviously a wrong way to look at it.
Not necessarily, in that you should offer things too that, you like, or, there's kind of that balance though, because it's not, if Hecate is known for liking cinnamon, right, then, and you go, well, I don't like cinnamon, then you should probably go with the traditional thing. But also, if you're giving an offering to something and or say you're vegetarian, then you probably shouldn't give meat because that's disgusting to you, and they're going to get the disgust with it. That's the or same as like people who work like voodoo or whatever. And there's a lot of kind of alcohol and tobacco and stuff like that. But say you're kind of not that type of person or whatever. It's like you can never go wrong with water. Essentially. So I mean, that's a pretty decent one.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out what is a good thing to kind of give, because it's like with the alcohol stuff is like, well, I mean, they can't drink it, so that's pointless. It's like giving petrol to a cat. The fuck's he gonna do? Yeah, but
you're kind of thinking about it slightly wrong in that it's like, say, think about the way the Hare Krishnas approach food, and to a certain extent Thelemites as well. In that, you cook your food. You can't taste your food while you're cooking it. It's part of the Hare Krishna thing. And then you put it out in a plate, and you make a plate. No, you just put out your normal plate, and before anyone eats, you offer it to Krishna, and he has the first bit of it, whatever. And by that, it becomes holy. It becomes a spiritual food, and it becomes more nourishment for you, whatever. So like, it's not. And in that, there's certain things that he won't eat. He won't eat meat. He won't eat garlic. He won't eat onions. He won't eat onions or garlic because they excite you.
Doesn't eat garlic.
I know, yeah,
Who
crazy.
Doesn't eat garlic?
Vegetarians don't eat onions and garlic. And so the Thelema thing of saying it's not grace. What did I call it before? Whatever. But to have an equivalent thing,
there is something.
Saying will. Yeah, it's the will, and why am I doing it for to be able to do the great work, all that kind of stuff. So it's the same kind of thing. So if you think of offerings in that way and go, well, it's not really necessarily that I'm saying here's a drink in the way that I would offer you a drink. You know what I mean? It's like kind of, I suppose, transmutation of it or something into a. So then there's the kind of questions: do you eat the offerings yourself, or do you what is the? You throw them out because people are kind of going, well, it's a waste just to throw them out. But one of the suggestions is that if you have like say you have offered sweets or Turkish delight to Ganesha, which is one of his things, that you can give to a kid, so there's an enjoyment of it, and you're not getting the enjoyment of it. Because I know there was kind of a people who were given like Maltesers to Ganesha, but they were really buying them for themselves to have later. Kind of, I'll enjoy this. But there is something to be said in that you can go, well, I'm going to offer the enjoyment of these to God. Or whoever. I know. Yeah. Well, which is, but that could become a more kind of Catholic thing that you need to work for it, where it's fine. Not that you can, you can't offer the enjoyment of sweets, but you could enjoy, or you could offer the sweat from exercise, because that seems, okay, let's get in on that. That's a bit of torture there. That'll be acceptable.
Catholic Church messed us up, didn't it?
That was mad. It's crazy. Yeah, just can't see past her in this room of Catholicism that we're just never getting out of ever. Everything is just coloured.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
just to finish the George Harrison thing, which you liked, because I told you before, where he was saying that what you do with the incense, so you offer it to your God or whatever, and you light it, and it kind of infuses into the room and infuses into the walls and the area and into you, and so you're infusing the room with God, which I like that. I think that's quite nice. Yeah,
it's a nice one. Yeah. No, look, I mean, I've started doing it, and I think things are going quite well. Maybe it's the new meditation I'm doing, the new thing I'm at. I don't know. But like, I'm going to keep doing it because it seems to work, so it's fine. I don't know, like, I mean, but I know as well there's this silly ego thing when it comes to doing all these practices and all. You're like, oh, that's stupid, I'm not doing that. And then you're like, well, you know what, everyone else does it and it seems to work, so I'll try it. And then it's like, oh, okay, fine, all right.
And I mean, there's a huge history to it as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I'm still a bit, I don't know about like leaving the food out or the alcohol or stuff like that, because that does seem wasteful. Rather than, even like, okay, what the fuck, a slice of bread doesn't cost that and kind of thing. But it's just the fact of like,
well, any food, personally, I do. I if it's sweets, I will give it to. This says, "Well, I'll give it to children. I'll just come into my van. I have some God sweets." No, but if it's like anything else like food wise, right? I'd leave it out. But there's a kind of again in that, don't be, because there's a thing where you offer stuff to the fairies or the local folk or whatever it is, that, and it's their old kind of thing. And there was people who were kind of like what was left at the end of the dinner, they'd put it out, oh, that's for the fairies. And it goes like, yeah, don't do that, because that's hugely disrespectful. Here, that, give that to your dog. He's fine with that. But, if you're going to do something like that, then, actually cook them a dinner or something like that. Do something for that that's not just kind of a token, here's the fat off my steak because, I'm not eating that.
That's the thought I've had. It's like, I wouldn't want... that's it. Because in my head, I would see it as tokenism, so therefore I won't do it because it cheapens what I'm doing.
Yeah. And that's probably a good kind of barometer of it. Like, so what you should do is go buy a steak and something that actually physically hurts you to do in a financial sense or whatever. Because it's not sacrifice then. It's not an offering. If it means nothing to you, then so like that would be, buy, I don't know, an expensive cheese and leave it for the fairies, or milk, or whatever it's milk and bread, isn't it? That what the classic Irish thing is for it. And then put it somewhere, like where animals will get it, it's so that it's kind of, if you're not going to get the wasteful thing or whatever, but don't give them the end of your cereal, or do not the kind of, the Malteser that you were, I'm full of Maltesers, here Ganesh, I have this one, I didn't want it anyway. Excuse me. Yeah, water, candles and incense. Well, candles you can go wrong with because you can burn your house then. There's always that. So the trick with candle magic is if there's any sort of a chance of your house burning down, it probably will. So don't ever leave candles unattended. And even Beanot was saying he was called, because he's involved in emergency services. He was saying he was called out one time to a house that had burnt down or fire damage, something from an incense stick. So even at that, you have to be careful on all of these things. Which I'm not, but I try my best to be. But sometimes I'll be driving away and I go, just never blew that candle out. Do I go back? Uh-oh. And then you go, oh, spirits protect me, blow out this candle, and they go, you're an idiot. Just go home, blow out your candle.
Yeah, I think the candle stuff is probably good too, because it's probably enough, like, because it gives it it's a very simple thing to do, but you're creating light, and that's what they're made of. So
exactly,
there's the two of you.
There's a representation of the light from of them in this world or whatever. And the kind of things as well where you can thing I like to do sometimes is that I light a candle and say I'm doing offering incense. I light the incense from the same candle, so then it's the flame from them that's lighting the incense. Or if you're burning sigils or you're doing something like that, it's from using that kind of as if it's like a portal that you've opened, in a sense that and now you can send things forwards and back.
The continuity from each element of it as well. Like
exactly, that thing, So that's definitely it's something it's just I do all the time that I don't really think about. So when someone asks me, "Do you do it?" I would probably go, "No, I don't." And then I go, "Hey, you've already done it twice this morning." You know what I mean? Like so. Oh I forgot about that. It's like it's the first thing I do when I come in here and stuff like that. So it's like. And I have that kind of sense of when I put the lights on and I light the candles and the incense, and it's kind of as if, well, there's I'm opening the temple for the day. There's a kind of that element to it that I'm, and then I close it at night, and I don't know exactly what that means, but it feels right that right now I'm, I have welcomed or I've done my duty. It's kind of like, I suppose, like if you're going into a church or something and you do your initial blessing or you open the doors or something. I don't really know what it is, but it feels like I'm opening the channels or refreshing them or whatever. Not that they shut off at night, particularly not when you get visitations from blue balls that you got the last time when you were engaging with angels. They definitely don't shut off at night. Or Lucifer comes in for every night at 3:00 for 2 weeks or whatever it is. Any more angel stuff? No,
because I was down away there for how long was it? How long were we off for? 3 weeks? 2 weeks?
It feels forever. It's 2 weeks. There's 2 episodes. I think.
I've been down there I was down there for 3 weeks in all, and I didn't miss. Yeah, I think I missed 2 podcasts, wasn't it?
I think so.
Because it was back and forth and back and forth. Ah, geez, he really lost his hand, like fucking hell. In an accident.
I don't think he actually told the story on the podcast at all.
Yeah, so it's not a big deal. But,
it's a fairly big deal to him.
Well, it is for him, I suppose. No, but like, well, I mean, no, he hurt himself very badly on the table saw. He wasn't paying attention. Like, this is the thing with table saws. You can use them for an hour a day, 2 hours a day for 10 years and nothing will happen. The second you're not paying attention. And he was damn lucky. I mean, he cut himself here. I'm showing on a thumb. But like, it could have swiped off those fingers. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, look, one of my dad's friends is missing everything except his thumb and the baby from an accident he had. He blamed Red Bull when Red Bull came out first. This is obviously a long time ago, 20 years ago, 20 something more years ago. He used to drink a lot of this stuff, and he'd just be all jittery, and that's what he blames for that. But like, my father-in-law wasn't like that. He was rushing. He always is, though. He's always doing too much. But yeah, look, it was touch and go there for a while.
I thought he was Polish.
Hey, it was really touch and go for a while, and I was driving them to hospitals and doctors, and I was looking after the horses and stuff like that. But I mean, like, you know, I'm a bit down since I came back because I missed them.
Right,
you know? They're awesome. You know? Fucking, like, I'm just fucking standing there, they're drinking water and I'm shoveling around their poo or whatever, but it's like, this is great. Fucking hell, like. Imagine being an accountant. Fuck that. I get to shovel horse shit. It's amazing. And not get paid.
Even better. Not even my horse.
It's class, yeah. And altogether 3 weeks was there. I don't know how many. I think I only rode them twice, but like each of them was like 2 hours at a go kind of thing. That's great, man, in the mountains, because you're just through forests and up hills and down hills. You haven't a fucking clue where you're going. There was we saw a carcass of something the wolves had got, and it was fucking, I don't know what the fuck it was, but the feathers were like that big on it kind of stuff.
Right.
So it was like an eagle or a hawk or something. Oh, wow. How does a wolf catch one of them? I have no fucking idea. But like, it was obviously it's what I got him.
How's a wolf catching? Practice.
Brilliant. And then just further down the trail, then there was a big dollop of bear poo, and it was just like, this is awesome, you know, this is great. But then, you know, shoveling, like, took me an hour and a half every single day just to clean the horse shit. But like,
and
happy as Larry to do it.
Do you use it as fertilizer, do anything with it, or make dynamite or anything?
No, he make dynamite. We send it off to the IRA. They make Semtex. Don't tell anyone. He gives it away to one of the locals.
Did you try to grow mushrooms in it or anything like that? No. You could start selling it to mushroom growers. What, I'm sure there's a proper word for that. Mushroom people. Mushroom people.
Mycologists.
Mycologists.
Yeah, there is a. Yeah, you probably could. Yeah, but like,
you'd have to dry
I presume he has some deal with some local farmer. The farmer comes every now and again and just fills up his trailer and takes it all away. So it's grand.
That's cool. I've stopped lying down for meditation. That's my big change in my meditation.
Stop falling asleep.
Yeah, I've essentially stopped having a 25-minute nap every day, and instead of actually meditating. I remember saying to Alan Chapman years ago, I don't know, sometime, I was saying to him, because he's a big proponent of the lying down thing, same as Kingsley, you know, the incubation, lie down. I go, so yeah, I keep falling asleep. You know, should I sit up? And he's going, no. You know, maybe what you need is a nap. And I go, yeah, I definitely need a nap, but that's not going to help me on my meditation thing. But so yeah, I just kind of got sick of it because I could get fairly deep. What do you call it? Lying down, but there is always that kind of point where you go, was I snoring there?
Yeah, was I asleep? Yeah. Did I dream that? Did I dream that thing or what? No, I suppose not that. What's the difference between a dream and a vision? I don't know, but like,
sure,
does it matter? But I lie down. I was sitting for a long time, but I lie down now because don't know.
No, I think it's fine to do any of that kind of stuff, but just I like changing up. I do find that, and it's not so bad this time for some reason. one of the times when I was doing the kind of, the Zazen type posture that I was trying to, I couldn't do the fully crossed leg thing for long because my legs just fall asleep. So I do that kind of Burmese one where they're kind of half. But I was just, the whole meditation practice became about my posture, and I was just going, this is, which is fine from, like, I suppose, a Vipassana point of view, where you can just notice that you don't like this. But it's like, I can't, I remember when I was doing Zazen, what I hated so much was just, it was so kind of not enjoyable, and which is fine because your experience, what you're having is what the experience you're having, but it's just like, I don't want to do it though. It's good, it's long term. But this time I seem to have got it, because I have a proper meditation cushion and a what are it called, not a wasu, but some name, something that the actual cushion is in, and I can get fairly comfortable, and I put a blanket thing around me, and I can get, but they're great every now and again, and you just go, yeah, back it, birds, traffic, itchy head, but otherwise, I suppose if I was lying down, that's the point where you are,
you would be asleep,
but it's kind of, it's good, I'm enjoying it.
It's probably, it's better not to be falling asleep, because if you need to sleep, go sleep, because
that's it,
isn't going to, although then again, I mean, the more you meditate, the less you're supposed to need sleep, because your brain will do all that work when you're meditating as well. But I think you have to be fairly fucking good at meditating for that.
Yeah, and I mean, probably meditating longer than 25 minutes a day, twice a day. Probably you get 4 or 5 hours, or your 10-day retreats where you're doing 12 hours a day or something like that, and you sleep 4.
Could you imagine? I don't know how people do it. Like, I miss doing it when I'm down there, because obviously I can't do it when I'm down there. I've just too much work to do, kind of thing. And the way I do it, I like to do it, between, say, any time between 10 and say 1 o'clock in the morning, kind of stuff. I'll try and do it. But like, look, I need 20 minutes there. I'm going to have to talk to herself.
Just need to talk to God.
Grand,
just
okay?
Fine,
just going to have to talk to God. It's what? No. We have horse shit to clean. It's like, oh yeah, I know, and I like that too. But so I don't like getting out of the habit of doing it. But as well, at the same time, I don't beat myself up over missing it, because I can't. I just can't do it. So it's okay. I know it is hard. It is hard to get back into it. It is a bit hard to get back into it when you leave it off for a while. But you just have to persevere, like, don't you?
Well, that's it. And it's like that whole thing of like beating yourself up if you miss a day and all that. There's a lot to be said though too about getting like something like Headspace or one of the many meditation counters, Insight Timer I use, and it logs your days, and that if you get a good run of, like, I don't know, at one point I had to run 150 days or something like that, and I missed a day, and there was it's just, but there was an incentive to meditate on days where you could probably make an excuse not to do it. There was that extra kind of, I'll not get my badge, whatever.
That's like fucking Duolingo's like that as well, though. You fall into that trap, and it's like fucking the gamification of me learning language.
Yeah.
Fuck off. No, don't do that.
But I always remember Wayne Dyer talking about, Wayne Dyer is a very famous kind of New Age author from the 70s and early 80s. He was like the most popular. He was the Eckhart Tolle of his day, kind of a thing. And he jogged every day. He did 5 miles every day. I've told this story, Spud, to you before, so I know you can go glassy-eyed and pretend that, this is the first time I heard it.
No, you haven't. I don't know the story.
So he every day he ran 5 miles, and even if he was staying in hotels or whatever, he'd run round the corridors to get 5 miles. And it was, that was the thing he never wanted to miss, and it was 20 years doing it every day, and it was great. And then I think his wife said to him, "Did you ever try not doing it one day?" And he was going, I can give up jogging any day. The jogging's not my, it's something I choose to do and all that kind of stuff.
What's this devious woman up to?
And so
what's going on here? So
he was going he said, I'm not going to jog today, and fine or whatever. And he says, it was funny, at 5 to midnight, he says, I was out jogging, not strange, had to get it in. He says, the compulsion for it, just couldn't. And he says, I was addicted to it. It was exactly the same, that it was harder for me not to do it than it was for me to do it. And so I just had switched the thing. So he made a point that every now and again he'd not do it, just because it triggered something in him that he had to look at, that, So it's the same as, meditating every day. See if you can stop meditating one day and see your reaction to what it is. Are you addicted? You know, are you feeding like an addiction, or are you actually doing a practice? You know, it's kind of, it's an interesting one. It's the same, I suppose, with like any kind of diet, say, thing, or any kind of, you know, health, or any of these things that are meant to be good for you, say, you know, it can equally become addictive, you know, and that you should have a day where you have a cake.
Yeah, I mean,
look,
I'm one of those people who thinks you should mix stuff up quite often rather than staying to the one thing. And like, you know, the serious meditation teachers are not that way at all. They're like, no, stick to this, do this, da 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 da. But like, I think it's nonsense. To be quite honest, I think every now and again do a middle pillar. Every now and again do what's the name of the one? The exorcism one, the bonus ritual.
Headless,
do that. Yeah. Do a Magia thing. Do a Telemite one. Do a Buddhist one.
There's a lot to be said then to go, well, I'm going to do 30 days of metta as well. You know,
of course,
something like that. You know, head of thing. But I definitely agree, and it's just to avoid that routine. It's
exactly.
Purely routine what you're doing here.
And as well, you know, it's like, I see, like, I get talks about this a lot with our diet and our food stuff. What to explain it quickly? Once you start eating the same foods all the time, your body isn't getting the same nutrition out of them. So like, I don't know, I love red peppers, okay? But if I eat red peppers every day, then my body gets so used to it, it doesn't take any goodness from them. So it's better just to eat like...
Is it because it thinks...
Second or third days.
I'm going to get a red pepper tomorrow, so I don't need the nutrients now, so I'm not going to store them. Is it that?
To be honest, I don't know the reason, but it's like... But the best diet will be always mixing food. Like, not eating the same stuff all the time and putting in like a different vegetable kind of every day, or mixing and matching stuff, you know? Like if you have cauliflower soup, don't eat it for 3 fucking days. Eat it for 1 day, you know, store it, eat it another 2 days later or whatever, you know? That's the way to have a healthier body. And as well, like, with your mind works best. And there's so many studies with like the dementia and stuff like that, whereas that, like, the reason you get dementia is because one of the reasons you can get dementia one is because of just the repetitiveness of life. You're doing the same things all the time, and you know, when you're learning new stuff or doing new things, setting new challenges, or whatever it is, like, it's really, really great for your brain. So that's why I think my approach to meditation suits me, because I like this thing of like doing new things, trying new stuff. Okay, I know these different types of meditation, but changing it from 1 day, or doing one for 5 days, then doing another for 5 days, that changes, and it tells your brain something new, and it gets your brain working differently. And in my experience, it's just good for you. Yeah, you know?
But definitely one thing I would advise people is don't change it in the middle of your sit. If you're going, I'm sitting there and I'm going to do Vipassana for 30 minutes, don't after 10 minutes go, maybe I'll do metta now. Because that's your brain messing with you. That's saying I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so do the 30 minutes that you've set yourself out to do to the end. And then, you know, if you want to do metta, do that. But it's like, I've noticed my brain wanting to do that, where it's particularly because I hate counting my breath. It's just, I find it so boring. But until I get to a point, then it's really nice. But it's like, well, maybe I will do metta. I go, well, you had 10. You get back to it, to start counting again, you prick. Yeah, maybe fire might be good. 1. Oh, shit, here I am. 2. Bit of Underworld. 1. You know,
1, 2. Yeah, no, I think it well, look, it works for me. That's all I can say. Like, I don't have anyone else's experience, so I don't know. But like, obviously, sticking to the one thing is very beneficial for a lot of people. But for me, no, just I have to. It's with everything.
Yeah, but it's also I think it's, though, in fairness, it's not that you're constantly changing everything. It's like you've probably a core 5 at most practices that you're swapping around. It's not that every day you're trying something new. It's not like, I'll learn guitar today, and no, I don't like it. I'll learn piano today. No, I'll learn banjo today.
Of course.
You know,
of course.
Today I'll do chords, tomorrow I'll do scales, and then on Thursday I'll learn a song. That, you know, it's you're still playing guitar.
It's working out things as well. It's that, like, I know people you know, people debate about the banishing rituals and stuff, and the pros and cons of, say, Crowley's, what's Crowley's one called? The red something?
Star Ruby.
Star Ruby. Red Star Ruby. Red
The red ruby. The red
Star
diamond.
Ruby, red ruby. Yeah.
The red diamond. Yeah.
Star ruby and then the pentagram stuff. And okay, you can debate the pluses and minuses and all. But for me, it's like, right, I'll do them. I'll try them all. And then I try and figure out, okay, well, what's the thing, what's the linchpin in this that makes them work? You know, because it's like, you know, the stuff that like Dr. Non-Medical Dr. Stephen Skinner said about Crowley's Star Ruby is fucking hilarious. Like it's bloody
terrible. It's awful. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
And it's just, but at the same time, for Telemites,
it clearly works. It clearly works.
It clearly works. You know, so whatever. Like, and I love the way he just dismissed it, because like he just go through with a fine tooth comb and he just say I would have loved to have been there when he's just like. Just going, when he read it the first time, he just said, what the fuck is this cockamamie? You know?
What is this?
Would have been hilarious. Yeah. But then, like at the same time, when me and you were doing the challenge of doing the Star Ruby I figured out what was the elements of it that
you did like a Celtic version or something, didn't you?
Yeah, I changed stuff to the Celtic thing because it just spoke to me more than saying apodapodikis, whatever the fuck. What's the word?
Apopantocacodaimonos.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And I can't do that, you know.
And you have Apopantocacodaimonos. Come on, get with it.
Awesome. I'm like, hello.
Hello. Could you get behind me, evil demon? Thanks very much. Please
I don't want you around, evil. The duck. On your bike.
Hey, out of here. Out of here. Get out. Get. Get off my grass. Get off my grass. Cranky old man of the neighborhood.
I remember watching a video, when was it? It was actually not that long ago, where he was talking about something from the Egyptian papyri, that famous magical papyri thing.
PGM.
Where like PGM, where like there's a clap at the start of certain exorcist rituals.
Yeah.
And it's
clap's
like,
big.
And then he goes into like where this has appeared before and where it can come after. And I'm like, okay, well I can use that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we did clap banish at the end of the Great Conjunction one. Isn't that how we banished? We clapped, wasn't it?
There you go.
I'm pretty sure. Or did we laugh? One or the other. Both, maybe. The clap's a great one though, because even in a practical sense, you know, if you have a room full of people and you do it marks an ending.
Exactly, and it's just this kind of bam of energy, and you say, right, demons, piss off, or whatever. You know, I think that's what I find so interesting about this stuff is just digging into the different things people do and finding the commonalities of what does and doesn't seem to work, and then just trying it, seeing what happens. You know? And if it doesn't work, you can always go back to the proper way of doing it anyway. You know, there's always that safety net.
Let's just get it. You know me. I think you should start with the proper way, which is is the we're in agreement on that, but it's not the general consensus in chaos magic is to destroy everything, do my own thing. Yeah.
No.
But
it's just like any skill. It's like writing. You know, it's like you got to learn the grammar rules before you can
be James Joyce.
But Joyce knew all the grammar rules.
Definitely
but
did,
he just
didn't care.
Totally destroyed them. Same with Cormac McCarthy and people like that. You know. James Joyce had Top of the Morning to you in Ulysses.
What does he? Right.
I saw your comment and I didn't have time to write in it. But it was said in Ireland like just 120 years ago.
Right. Well, there you go. I think Nogan dug out that I think it was 1910 is the last mention in a book or something that it's or a newspaper article, something that it was mentioned in.
Right.
As that this guy could hear people saying it. I didn't even know there was a response to it. It's and the rest of the day to you or something is the response. I didn't even have it.
Oh,
heard that before.
No, the only time I've seen it is in James Joyce. And I know that it was probably in the time.
It's probably the Quiet Man or something like that. I think it's probably one of those things that's probably not in the Quiet Man. You know, that kind of way. You just think it is. But, it's
this film, will we?
Yeah,
Go on. You were going to say something.
No, I was just going to the end of that thing. I was just like, it's one of those things that you kind of, because Americans and are kind of wanting everyone to be Irish and have a very kind of weird notion about Irish people. It just kind of, there's a defensive thing that clicks off me when I hear it, which I have to look at.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. How dare you? Yeah, so this movie, American, what's it called? American Gospel, something,
Gospel.
Christ, the one Christ, only Christ. Yeah.
Christ alone.
Christ alone, yes. Alone with the alone. This came up in my feed of documentaries and anything that's kind of half related to something we talk about. I always stick in the folder. But I was expecting something slightly different, and I think you were as well.
Oh, very much so. Very different.
I thought it was going to be more like an overview of, I don't know, just general kind of, almost maybe, I don't know why I thought this, like mystical Christianity in America or something like that. That it would be like a kind of a, you know, like the one we watched before about the Australian guy we was talking about, St. Paul and, you know, how the Bible was written and all that. I thought it would be something interesting like that kind of a thing. But it's essentially conservative, I would suggest, fundamental Christian hit piece on prosperity gospel and modern kind of easygoing Christianity of people like you know, what's his name, Osteen and
Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen,
and who's the other guy, the old guy? He's a bit weird though, the old guy.
Benny Hill.
No, the other one. Copeland?
Stuart Copeland from The Police, yeah. So he's big Christian minister in the States for quite.
Copeland. I only wrote down his surname here, Copeland. I suppose if you put Copeland Christian into it, you might find something, will you? Copeland Christian.
Just pull up the IMDb page. I'm sure.
Kenneth
Copeland. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I actually
know him. He's this old guy who's rather strange. Yeah. He's a fucking mad as a box of badgers. He is.
Yeah. The thing about it, I suppose that what they're saying about the prosperity gospel of people like Osteen and all of these people, I don't disagree with. But what I suppose I have an issue with is that what their alternative is. You know, why it's like, it's not going to. So the whole thing, I suppose, with prosperity, one of the things is that the ministers say, give me money, part of the sacrifice or the offering that you know, I think the line was that when you let go of something in your hand, God lets go of something in his hand. So if you give me money, you'll get something in return. And, you know, there's this kind of whole big thing of giving up money. And, you know, they have all this huge amount of wealth, you know, 74 houses, 18 planes, 78 limos or whatever is the thing. And you can go, right, I think we can all agree that's probably not a good thing. And that there's, you know, the very poor, sick people who are looking for something, thinking they're getting something else, but what they're really doing is funding an insincere leech or whatever. And I go, right, okay, we can all be on board with that. But what they need to do is have the alternative is a much more severe, hard-hitting, fundamentalist Christian view of the Bible. And probably like strictly truer version of the Bible. And you know, that that is what it teaches or whatever. But I don't agree with that, you know, so I don't think that's... No. And it's all coming from the kind of presupposition that the Bible is 100% true, Word of God, written by God, you know. I mean,
that's
everything based on it, yeah.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is,
it's really uncomfortable to think that, well, I suppose there's millions and millions of people who believe that, but like, well, I don't know. I say there's millions and millions of people who say they believe that. It's like that thing in the... Oh, what's the book I was on about? The Illusion Mystery book. Your man who likes Peter Kingsley. We nearly got through a podcast without his name.
Bernardo Catra.
The Immortality Key.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Thoughts gone out of my head now. Bollocks about Jesus. Oh yes, that was it. There was this report or survey he spoke about in it, where he was talking about what the Eucharist is in Christian Mass and where it came from. So like it probably came from the Dionysian stuff or before that, of where you drink the wine and get off your head and talk to God, but it was easier to see that as you're drinking Dionysus because Dionysus is in the wine rather than he is the wine. So that's where the Jesus thing of drink the blood comes from, and you're supposed to think it's his blood, even though the earlier form of it was, look, the God is in the blood. Okay. So that's the way, rather than it's the blood of the God. Kind of thing.
There's an interesting, just to interject on that, there's an interesting thing in the Tantra thing is where they were talking about that it's the same kind of idea that the God and their mantra are the same thing, that there's not any separation between them, that when you're saying the mantra, you're saying you're vibrating the vibration of the gods. In the same way, what I'm getting is like with the Dionysus, the wine is, because it's the same thing. Yeah,
sure. And he was saying then that like there was these big questions as part of the survey, and one was to do with the virginity of Mary, and the other was to do with do you believe that when you take the Eucharist, you're eating Jesus' actual body, which is what you're supposed to believe if you're a Catholic, And there was something outrageous, like 60% of people just saw it as being symbolic. It's like, okay, you're not a Catholic, you're a Protestant, if that's what you believe. And it's the same with Mary. But like the Mary thing is mad, because it's like, no, it's been screwed up into this idea that she was a virgin. No, she wasn't a virgin. It's just she was allowed to have sex before marriage because it was foretold that she would give birth to the Messiah. That's the thing. It's an immaculate conception. It's not that she was a virgin. It's that she had sex without sin. That's what it's supposed to be.
And the word virgin meant something else. It meant like young woman or something. Like it doesn't necessarily mean didn't have sex or something. Or there's many different kind of reasons why it's not. But
there's lots of stuff. That's a big problem I have with this documentary, and that like it's just that like if you're going to be so, what's the word I'm looking for? Stubborn, strong-headed about. Oh, I'm looking for a difficult word like stubborn. What the fuck? Like if you're going to be so dogmatic about staunch and dogmatic about what the Bible is, do you think just maybe you might want to go back to the original Greek language it was written in, and maybe rather than just basing everything off the King James Bible, which we all know is full of fucking mistakes.
And because I
find that bizarre behaviour,
and it's
really bizarre.
Also obvious that they're not haven't looked too much into it, because they completely and utterly get Gnosticism absolutely wrong. Completely 100% nothing to do with it. It's kind of bound in with the law of attraction Gnosticism, which is not Gnosticism at all. It's like almost the opposite of Gnosticism, but it's Gnosticism. But yeah, because then when that's going, oh right, okay, that this is the standard model of American Christianity as it's presented, that they get to decide what's true, and all of the kind of hit pieces or anything that you have about any other religion, they get to say whatever they want, and people just believe it, and you don't have to back it up with any kind of evidence whatsoever, because like there was something else as well that I can't remember. I'll come back to it. I was going to get, but that's just not right though. That's just not true, But it was seen as a rebuttal to something that they were saying wasn't true, but there's no kind of evidence. That thing, I've seen that before. I've seen that on YouTube. The woman who was part of the prosperity gospel thing. The prosperity gospel, for people who don't know it, is kind of a form of New Thought in many ways, and it's kind of born out of a number of things: Christian Science, New Thought, and then things like Norman Vincent Peale, who the power of positive thinking, and things like the Unity Church, which is a lovely church. If you ever want to hang out with really positive law of attraction type Christians, the Unity Church is really nice. There's some podcasts and stuff. And it's kind of sent that God doesn't want you to suffer. God wants you to be happy. Just think good thoughts, and all of this thing. And that's fine. There's plenty of people who do believe that. There's plenty of people in occult and magic that believe that. And some days I believe it myself. So, I definitely think there's something to it. But, so she was kind of in this woman, and she was, trying to get her life better, and was seen as, and then for whatever reason she discovered that it was all false, and that she got feeling so bad because she had told her friends about this. But what really was happening is that she was going to hell. I'm going to hell, and for my sins. And it gets very dark into we're terrible things. We've all fallen or sinned before God. And we're all going to hell. We have a chance to not go to hell, but you know, you just have to give up kind of thing. And there was one thing in it that I actually thought was cool. My point was, I've seen loads of that prosperity gospel stuff on YouTube where people going, I've come out of it and I've found the true. It seems to be something that's done, that you get an awful lot of these kind of what's the word, confessions or announcements that, you know, of leaving the prosperity gospel type things. But that whole thing where they're saying you don't have to work for this, that Jesus has already done, or the Christ, as they say, have already done the work, and you are not getting out of this no matter what you do by effort, which is definitely a response to the Protestant work ethic Reformation stuff. But it's kind of, there's something in it that we're pointing at that I think comes across in the kind of non-dual surrendering type stuff as well. This is why I think it's interesting that you can have a wrong idea but still get to the same place, in a sense. Wrong idea from my point of view. You know, but this kind of, that, you know, the way they're talking about Jesus is there, and it's kind of the way some people talk about their HGA or their you know, their spirit. It's very similar, you know, that whole kind of thing, that you can't work this out. And go, yeah, I've heard that before in other places. You know that, you know, you're not, no matter what you do, you're you know. And it's all right. They're pointing at the same thing here, apart from when I hear other people pointing at us, they don't threaten me with hell, you know, or that I'm a terrible person. But, so
they were saying that, like, the way to get to heaven basically is all you have to do is just believe in Jesus. But you gotta, like, really believe it.
Yeah,
you gotta go all in with the story.
And you can't believe it just to get into heaven, because that's not believing it. Yeah.
And you gotta see it as Jesus as the moral guide for your life. You know, so it's did I write it down? I think there's a phrase, something like, it's not what would Jesus do, it's what did Jesus do? Yeah. So and to think that if you're in trouble and you need to figure out something, you just think, okay, like if Jesus was here, what would he have done in this situation? So I mean, that's fine. I don't really particularly have a kind of problem with that at all. That's fine. But it's that they have this thing that, like, it doesn't matter what you do, because, like, they obviously they're evangelicals, you know, come from the Protestant branch, so it's like they do this graph about how Catholics get to heaven. They even mention, like, indulgences. Indulgences went with the Reformation.
I know, yeah.
It's ridiculous. And they say that, like, you know, for a Catholic to get to heaven, if he commits a sin, the baby is born and then it's baptized, so the sin is gone. But then, you know, it lives, so obviously it sins, does a little bit of sin, and the graph goes down. Then it does a mortal sin, and it's down in hell. And the only way to get back up then is through penance and suffering, and they're like, no, that's not it. All you have to do is believe in Jesus. And it's like, oh, that's easy, I can do that. Whatever.
Okay.
But it's like, no, but then, you know, they go into further then of this. Obviously, it's a cult, but this cult of a cult kind of thing, where that, like, you follow everything that he did in his life, and then twisting the Bible to be like, well, you know, everything that's in the Bible is the story of leading up to Jesus. So if you're reading from Ecclesiastes, Book of Fred, from the Book of Blob, and whatever, and there's some line about, I don't know, he didn't know what to put on his pizza. Then you have to think, like, well, what would Jesus have put on his pizza? Because they're going to connect with each other. And it's just like, no. That's not it at all. Like,
if you don't understand something in the Bible, or it doesn't make sense, or it seems ludicrous, that's a fault in you, because the Bible's true. And it's like, okay. How do you argue with that?
It's a very bizarre documentary, because, like, when I saw the name of it in the photo, I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And then I looked up 2 different reviews, and they got great reviews. I'm like, okay, this sounds all right. Nope. No. It's
the trot out a very sick woman.
It suffers from. There's too many talking heads and not enough experts. So there's too many. Okay, so who should be in this documentary then? Fucking university religious theologists.
Richard Dawkins should be in this documentary.
Like, Richard Dawkins should be in it, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be good fun.
Yeah.
But, like, having just, like, Pastor Joe from his congregation of 150 people, that's, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, he could be the smartest man in the world. He could. Okay, look, Peter Kingsley again. Fuck all people have read him, but he's obviously incredibly smart. So we should listen to experts. Okay, experts. But like, I don't know. It's so fucking one-sided, you know.
Yeah.
And the problem I have, the prosperity gospel is a funny one, because it's like, yeah, okay, obviously what they're preaching is bollocks. You know, because like, just think happy thoughts. God wants you to be a millionaire. Right? God doesn't care about money. What the fuck? Like, if you showed God money, he'd be like, what the fuck is this paper? What's that green weird paper? I don't know what that is. Do you know? But it's like, what one of the major things that these evangelicals have against the prosperity thing is that, well, in the prosperity gospel, they're teaching people that they're little g gods.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
not big G gods. And I'm going,
they have the same nature.
No, I'm going, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We are all gods.
They don't like that at all. No.
Do you know, we are all part of it, and they really don't like that.
No,
they went fucking nuts about that. Like people getting actually angry about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because their thing is that, like, you can only come through God, you can only get to God through Jesus.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that.
But
I'll die on that hill.
Yeah,
you know?
but like, I mean, that is one of the famous, that's one of the infamous kind of quotes from the Bible, the only way through God is through me, or whatever the exact quote is.
But it's like, I don't know, I have a problem with people using the Bible to
prove anything.
It's like, prove an argument.
But why is it true? Yeah, because it says so in the Bible, and goes,
it's like, okay, 1 second. Can we get to that book of the Bible, and can we go back to the original? Because I don't trust the English. I just don't trust it. And I don't speak ancient Greek or Aramaic or any of these languages. But it's like, if you're going to use that, then they're not on solid foundation.
Yeah, but
you know?
Even if it is an exact translation of the ancient Greek or whatever it is, what about the 60, 70, 80 other versions of this gospel that have varying things on it? Why are we only believing this one? But yeah, if God wrote all of these and a man decided which ones were the right ones, you know, it's. But there's no arguing with this, because if we all have at certain points. I'm sure I know you have argued with like staunch fundamentals, not like trigger word, whatever. Christians, you can't argue with them. There's no arguing with them, and they have answers. And even when you catch them on, not catch them, because that sounds like you're trying. No, well, I suppose if you catch them on something, they have a way out of it, or they'll just, that's just what I believe, or that, you know, it's like there's no, you can't win them around by reason, and you can't win them around by, you know, intelligence or whatever. It's just because they'll fall back on emotion, and that's fine, 100% fine, until they start telling me what I have to think. And start making or influencing laws in my country, or any of these things, or, you know, being in the schools, or all of that. So you can, you know, if you could just be a Catholic in your comfort of your own home, and don't do it in public, or do it in public, but don't demand that I do it in public as well. But that's the same with all religions, I suppose. But there's that kind of proselytizing, or that kind of conversion thing that's rampant in Christianity, you know, that
yeah.
You know, there's definitely not live and let live with them for the majority. Most actual day-to-day people are quite fine.
What stood out for me is that, like, it's always kind of, not always, but it's like, it's something I have thought about a lot. It's that, like, why does it seem that the most staunch Christians in the Western world seem to be, you know, racists? You know, why are they anti-immigrants when, you know, Jesus lived in Egypt for a while and he probably wasn't allowed to be there.
American Jesus, man, blue-eyed, white-skinned Jesus.
But you know what? After watching this documentary, now I know why.
Right.
The American religious. I mean, the hardcore guys. I know why they're like that. It's because they're not nice people. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
they're not Christians. Like they might call themselves Christians, but they're not.
Yeah, there's definitely like a totalitarianness to them. Like there's a Procrusteanness that they are going to enforce these rules, and they have the power, and it's like a power thing. There's definitely a power trip to it, and something quite dark about it. They're like really dark. There's something
really dark
about it. Like, and like there's a couple of things that trot out. Aion, who was she was part of the prosperity gospel, wanted to get better. She was really sick, and then her husband found real Jesus, not the fake Jesus, and things got worse for them, but they got happier because they had Jesus beside them, and it was getting into that really nasty thing of suffering is good, which is said a couple of times in that documentary, that we're here to suffer for being, for someone eating an apple that didn't happen because it was a figurative thing. but like literally that's we're terrible people that we have to suffer, and it's like kind of seen as God doesn't want you to heal or be happy. He wants you to suffer.
There's one really good preacher in it, and he explains stuff really well. The guy with the grey hair, he's quite smart. I liked him, the way he talks about why we have moral failings on the earth. And it's a bit like something you were saying a couple of weeks ago on one of your vlog. I almost said blog videos. How old am I? Why do we talk like an old man? Jesus Christ.
One of your little video things that you have on the internet. One of
your talkies. You had a talkie. You had one of those talkies. Jesus Christ. You were saying that this is the nature of the place. Jesus Christ, it rang true so much to me. Like, this is the nature of the place. It's a challenge, So rise to it kind of thing. But his thing was that, like, look, we might think that we're equal to God, and if you ask someone like, did you break these 10 commandments, whatever, and they might lie to you and say, no, I never broke any of them, I'm great, I'm going to go to heaven. And his thing is like, no, you're not, because we're human. Like, we have all of these moral faults, but it's just our nature. I thought that was very good, but it was without being saying we're sinners.
No, I got that. You said that only, and it said only God can do these things. Only God is perfect in saying that you're not, and you're never going to.
You're not.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think it was a good way. His way of kind of seeing it was kind of transcending it as saying it's okay that we're like this. It's okay.
Yeah.
But by knowing God, by loving God, and by him loving us, then that's how we get to heaven. That's fine. Yeah. But now I would argue we can get that here on earth as it is already. We don't have to wait.
Yeah. And it's and it has all that kind of stuff of your real life is somewhere else. Which again I'm not a fan of at all.
Not into that.
Yeah, that it's we've done something wrong. We're here. We're bad people, and we have to. And that whole thing where they were talking about the suffering, I thought was interesting. Where they were going like, why would a good God have so much suffering? And they're kind of going, no, all of it comes from God, all of it, the good, the bad. But they kind of gloss over it. We're saying that even the terrible stuff is really good, and they kind of go, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's just masked. It's masked.
Because we can't really. No, it's still terrible. It's terrible stuff, and I think terrible
you're only a sentence away from saying, the Austrian. Well, you.
I know. Yeah, you literally are. You're a sentence away from that. Yeah, that they made a decision before they came here to experience this. It's the spiritual bypassing. It's absolutely. It's disgusting.
Nonsense. Yeah. I'm not. No. That's not my world.
No,
I'm not living in that world. I'm not. I fucking refuse to.
Yeah. Even if I die and I meet God, and he says, "No, that's the way it is." He goes, "No, not doing it."
No, you're wrong. You're actually wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
I've been
Get Job
there.
out here. He'll agree with me.
Job.
He gets mentioned in it too, but they definitely don't take the same thing as Carl Jung takes, and it's kind of Job deserved it. They killed 10 children in one day. Have you read the rest of the Bible? They kill an awful lot more than 10 children in one day. But a lot of death in that Bible. Yeah. What, 10 kids? Oh, that was a good day for God. He was quite nice that day. He only killed 10 children. Yeah.
There's someone has a podcast. I've never listened to it, but I follow their Twitter account. They're funny lads, and Apocryphia or something like that. I don't know, but it sounds like an interesting podcast. Just I don't have a lot of time to be listening to stuff. They go through the books of the Bible, and the thing is, like, we go through the books of the Bible and try not to be a jerk about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like a fucking good podcast. Like,
cool. Yeah. It's not what Jordan Peterson tried to do.
Interesting idea. Huh?
It's not what Jordan Peterson tried to do though at one stage. The Bible.
Did he with a podcast?
No, but all the lectures on the Old Testament that he did.
That's the maps of meaning stuff, isn't it?
No, the actual ones that went from the Patreon money that he made when he was getting 50 grand a month, whatever. He did all of Genesis, explained all of Genesis from his point of view. He got to Exodus, I think. They're good. I mean, I'm not recommending Jordan because he's definitely gone south. But
people will shut you down, man. You'll be locked down. You'll be, what's the word I'm looking for? Woke. No, you won't be woke. The woke.
I'll be waked.
will awaken.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll tell you. I'd recommend it to you. I think you might find them interesting. That's the that's the best.
Look, I should just read the fucking Bible myself. But like the thing is, I wouldn't know which one to buy because obviously not the King James one because that's rife with mistakes. Like what, dear listeners, is there a Bible out there which is the closest to the?
Well, you got the Nag Hammadi book as well, didn't you? That time.
I have as a PDF somewhere.
PDF,
I do. Yeah.
That's probably a good one.
I must buy it. Yeah. But that's another thing as well. Is that like, I don't know. It's just like I remember hearing about these other Dead Sea Scrolls when I was in secondary school, and I remember them being like, "This will change religion."
Yeah.
And nothing happened.
Well, it did change religion, just not the Christian one. Changed New Age. It changed loads of other things.
I thought like, well, I mean, they found these books. They're going to have to be put into the Bible. We have lots of things to learn, and wow, this is super interesting times to live in. No, that's not what happened.
No, that's not it. Yeah,
no,
it's funny. Would we recommend people watch this documentary? I don't think so. No, I don't think you need to.
I mean, look, I did learn. I'd learned from it. I did learn from it. I didn't just dismiss it, and I could have stopped half an hour into it and says no. But, It's 2 fucking hours as well. Like
2 hours 9 minutes. No. I'm not getting back.
There is. I think there's plenty to learn about it if you don't know anything about American Christianity. For the Americans who are listening, you already know this shit.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
My heart goes out to you. You have to live with people like that.
Yeah. The bit, if you could just kind of take a couple of bits out of it, like that bit where they're talking about non-dual Jesus, I enjoy that. They don't think they're talking about that, but they are. That's that, the HCA is Jesus and all that kind of stuff. That's interesting that they're pointing at that from, I was going, right, it's funny that everywhere kind of ends up there, kind of in a sense. I think their criticism of the prosperity, particularly the big ministries, the Joel Osteen and the Benny Hinn and stuff like that, less so the Unity Church stuff, which seems to be just a generally community based. Maybe I'm wrong with this, but this is my feel about it. That seem to do a lot of good. That it's not about one person making all the money. I think there's good criticism in that, but the alternative they're offering is very, very dark, and it's almost very Irish Catholicism with a slightly darker flavour to it or something. You don't get the fun of the saints or the Happy Mary or whatever, or the appears through statues waving at you and stuff like that. It's just the darkness. But and then that guy we were talking about, where he's talking about the suffering thing. There's some interesting conversations in it that I would like to have seen gone further, rather than here's the prosperity, which is who they're mostly attacking. Here's the response. And now we'll get Sam Harris to talk for 10 minutes or someone equivalent or someone.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know who would be the best person. Christopher Hitchens would have been great in that, but they would have definitely been taking lines out of context from him and putting them in and stuff, because there's just no way they would allow him to talk. But I would say it's a publicity piece, it's a puff piece, and I'd say there's definitely some church, a bigger church, a grouping that I just don't know the name of, that has produced this. Like it's there's a name of this type of Christianity or something, like I don't know, Pentecostal or something. It's not Pentecostal, but
it must be a group of evangelical churches have come together and put this thing out, because obviously the prosperity gospel is hitting them in the pocket.
Sure, yeah.
It's very fucking popular, and why wouldn't it be popular if you have lads in $1,000 suits on stage telling you that you can be a millionaire and God wants you to be one, and really it's because of your bad thoughts, it's your own fault that you're not rich.
But it's okay. You're not a bad person. You just were, you were taught wrong. You're led astray. But then the shots of all the kids at the back. Remember
law of attraction, Christianity.
Yeah,
sorry, what?
Remember all the shots of like the real sick kids at the back that weren't allowed up to be healed, and that heartbreaking, and knowing they were given money. And what was the line that your man says to someone who was a healer or whatever, and she comes back to try and heal his son, and she asks him how much you earn, and he's going like, why does that matter? Oh, because it'll you'll get a better healing if you pay me more money. I was just like, that's so shitty.
That's tithing. That's why we had the Reformation. That's one of the reasons we fucking had the Reformation.
The thing about tithing, though,
you're supposed to be on the side of the Protestants.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
I'm not totally against the idea of tithing. I think there is something said about giving part of your as an offering to your wherever you're getting your spiritual sustenance from or whatever. I understand that kind of thing.
I don't know, Tommy. I'd be more like.
But like,
go ahead.
Yeah, in that I can understand it, and I can see like if your only way of doing something as a spiritual leader is from your community, which is how most of it's based on all of these things. I can understand it. It's when you start getting richer than the people that you're teaching, and when you start hoarding it and doing all that thing. But or that kind of, there was a guy who I used to listen to. He was a druid, and his form of tithing was that he would. Say when he went to an ATM and he took out $100 or whatever, he'd leave $10 there for the next person. So he was seeing that this is me giving the thing, and his whole thing was you can't, not to get the pleasure of it. You don't look at the person finding the money and you're getting the pleasure. It's just to do these type of things. So I can understand tithing in that, but not in your son who's tremendously sick. If you give me 50% of your wages every month, I'll not cure him again. How
do you sleep at night?
How do these people sleep at night? No, I suppose they just don't.
Bit of money,
but how do the people who work for them as well? These people who come up and you can't come up here, and what's it? You have to pray about your problem or something, and to push them back, and don't let the man with cerebral palsy, and he's on the crutches. Whatever he says, he never gets up front. He was an interesting character as well, because he was a total believer, but at the same time, I suppose it's because it was anti-prosperity. There's a lot in it when you think about it, when you start talking about it.
There's a lot to get thinking about if you're open to thinking about it. But like for me and you, like, what is it? It's going to put another nail into the coffin of Christianity, which, I mean, it's already quite full of metal, to be honest.
yeah. Which is sad, because I mean, like, there's definitely goodness to be had in it, but
it's sad. Like, I mean, I like this Aion book. I like Carl Jung's interpretation of Christ. He's the individualized.
Yeah.
He's the one to aim at. He's the first one who done it. Like the Buddha or whatever. He's the most individualized man. And okay, I like that. I think that's an interesting. It's not even an interesting take, but I think it's
well, it's the theosophical take as well, that the Christ is the first man, or the first human to have evolved to the greatest, has all their bodies, has all, done all the things or whatever. But there's then there was the other ascended masters and stuff like that came, but he's supposedly the first. Not Jesus in the theosophical thing. Jesus was another high-ranking master, but at the age of 30, his body was, Scooby-Dooed by the Christ. And that Christ works through him for 3 years, and then at the end they pull off the mask, and it was Jesus all along. No,
Jesus all along. We got you.
So the Christ gained enlightenment before he became Jesus Christ. Right. Like it's pre-Buddha. It's like in the beginning was the Word. All that stuff. It's like it's pointing at that kind of stuff. If you believe that, I'm not. It's like John. Like it's all right saying after Jesus. John going, well, Jesus was there from the beginning. Why would you have written that 100 years ago before you even knew who Jesus was? Maybe. Yeah. But yeah.
No, plus as well, I mean, it's like we have to remember Jesus killed children according to the infancy gospel of Thomas.
Yeah. And I mean, he was, threw people over cliffs, brought them back alive from death, to throw them back over, just to prove his own innocence. Yeah. Nice man, Jesus. Yeah, he was. He got thrown out of 6 crashes. Couldn't get him into a secondary school. Just wouldn't have him.
No, you're the child of immigrants. You're not allowed in here.
No room
I'm
at the
from
school.
Bethlehem. What are you on about? I'm from Bethlehem. It's grand. I'm not from Egypt. No, they were in Egypt working. They're not from Egypt.
Are you the guy who the king killed all of the kids over? You ran away and all our kids got killed. You're that fella. Oh, no chance. Mate. Yeah. He's not even your father. You know that. That fella's not even your father.
We're missing all these children. There's too many of a gap between years. He's gonna have to wait until he's 3 and go in with the 1-year-olds because we can't put him in with the 6-year-olds. We can't put him in. They're all,
a whole generation wiped out. Other than one guy.
4-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 1-year-olds. They're all dead. So we can't put them there. So he's gonna have to wait. All right. So look, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to bring him to work, Mary. That's just the way it is.
That's it.
Go be an accountant and get a maybe they have creches. Google has a creche. Go work for Google.
Yeah, go work for Google. Yeah. You know, in a funny way, Jesus' mum worked for Google.
I don't know. It's to get back to should you watch it? Probably shouldn't if you know anything about American Christianity because you'll know all this already.
Yeah.
And prosperity gospel stuff, you know it's all a sham already. So but am I glad I watched it? Yeah, because I learned plenty from it. So,
I'm glad
watching.
To in that it's something that I definitely would not have watched the whole way through had it not been that we decided we're doing this. I would have switched it off halfway. I'm going, whatever. And then there's a couple of bits that are thing, but yeah, it's definitely. How many Jesuses out of 10? I'm going to give it 4 Jesuses out of 10. So that's my.
Yeah, you have 4 as well. I mean, I don't know,
it's well made. You know what I mean? Like it's
well made.
Money in it.
But none of the churches, watching that as someone who would have an interest in religion, there isn't a single, other than the guy with the grey hair who I liked. I might go see him actually of a Sunday, as long as it wasn't over an hour or 45 minutes. You might cut off kind of thing for a mass.
Yeah, leave just before communion.
Well, obviously you don't stay for communion because you don't believe in it. So what's the point in staying? If mass was longer than 22 minutes in my parish when I was an altar boy, he used to get knocks on the door.
Really?
The old ones. Hey, they used to come up and give out to him. I had to put on the dinner. Why was mass so long today? He never preached. He'd only preach at funerals, and that was grand. Everyone loved this priest because mass was in, out, done. It was great.
Yeah.
Then the next fella came on, it was 45 minutes. We're singing, singing in mass. What the fuck?
The priest singing, that priest singing thing is so funny.
None of them can sing, and they sing into the microphone. What was that? What the fuck is going on here? Singing, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ! The last fella was literally half the time, and now you're 45 minutes. No one loves God that much. He loves us.
Yeah,
he loves us.
Yeah. When does he come round to see me? He never comes to my house. Why is it always me? He never rings me and gives out to me. Oh, you didn't ring me. You didn't ring me, oh God. How about that?
There's 2 angry lapsed fucking Catholics because you're never not a Catholic, you know that you're only a lapsed one.
It's like an alcoholic. You're never not an alcoholic.
I wouldn't mind knowing and liking Jesus more because he comes across as a cool Buddha dude if you read between the lines of his stuff.
Yeah, New Age Jesus is pretty cool. Bible Jesus.
But if you read the Bible and stuff, you're like, I don't know, Really? No. Should base the religion on this? I don't know. It's I don't know. It's a weird one. I told you before, I kind of like the orthodoxy version of Christianity, where it's our religion is basically all about talking to God. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to talk to God and not just pray. You're supposed to get what you're looking for. A conversation going kind of thing. And you can be married. Although you have to be married before you become a priest. Yeah, I can do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But then they have these weird baptisms. You ever seen the baptisms?
No.
Kids die, man, and stuff.
What?
Oh, it's horrible. They take the kid. It's like doing what's the thing in the circus called? Trapeze artistry. Right. They get the baby, they spin him around and dip his head in the water and stuff. Spin him again. I think it's done 3 times or something. Not that long ago, there was a big thing in Romania. A child drowned.
Right. No thanks.
Yeah. And I think the priest got away with it or something. He was excused because it's it's part of the ritual. What?
What is it with so you can do this, and in other religions you can genitally mutilate kids as well. It's just that's fine. We the kid, you can do whatever you want to kids. It's fine. very weird, isn't it?
Oh, that's a thing in this documentary, isn't it? Yeah. You can. God loves you. God wants you to come to heaven. You will know him through Jesus. Ah, shit, yeah, no, we need some of your penis.
Yeah. Have you still all your penis? Sorry, not tonight.
Sorry, man. Sorry, not
yeah.
Look, I know you've had a great life.
Are you far from home? Could you go home? Could you go home and get get rid of that bit of your penis? Could you do that?
You're up there at St. Peter. You're watching the Blu-ray on the 65-inch fucking screen, surround sound. Yeah, you're watching your first wank and you go, oh God, that's embarrassing. Oh God, your first sex, first kiss, your first love, your first fight, the first fucking contact with God kind of stuff. And then like, oh well, Patrick, that went well, didn't it? Yeah, Peter, I think that went all right. What would you give yourself out of 10? Oh look, I mean, I have to be humble here, but a 7.5. Like, hopefully I get in, like, because you know Bob Marley's in there, Kurt Cobain. I've always wanted to jam with them, like, you know, be nice. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, according to the Blu-ray there that we watched, yeah, everything's fine. One thing though, yeah, what's that, St. Peter? And it's always embarrassing to ask this. You've had to do this horse riding. You know, you know the question? I say, yeah, I know you have to ask women how much do they weigh about getting the right horse. Oh God, it's so embarrassing, especially when they're on the phone, you can't see them. Well, yeah, so drop your pants there, we need to see your penis. Sorry, Spud. Sorry.
Yeah, not happening, man.
Go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell.
Why did you give me this bit if it's not meant to be there? God's sake. It's so strange. It's so strange.
It's fucking ridiculous. Bye, Tommy.
Bye.